Hello and welcome to Matchday 23 of Championship Prediction from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savin. With me, as always, is Daniel, Cody, and Charlie Betts. Let's have a quick recap of Matchday 22. So we already knew Millwall versus Watford was postponed. 2-1 finally came through for Huddersfield versus Blackburn. Charlie also got a 2-1 correct scoreline for Rotherham versus Barnsley. And Daniel, Cody didn't get a perfect score. He just got the odd points here and there. So overall, Charlie wins again. He got 6 points to my 5, to Daniel Cody's 4. So the table looks like this. I still lead at the top with 154 points with 27 perfect scores. Daniel Cody's in second place with 147 points with 22 perfect scores. And Charlie Betts is on 124 with 18 perfect scores.
He's catching us.
He's catching up, guys.
I need 3 seasons to catch you. I think that's the problem.
So let's start with the first game of 2021 in the Championship. On New Year's Day, it's Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby. Charlie, Tony Pulis out, Sheffield Wednesday win.
This couldn't be any harder a start for the show than that one, because Derby obviously thumped Birmingham 4-0. Sheffield Wednesday pulled off an unlikely win. I know we said about Borough was a bad away form, but I don't think anyone, well, obviously some people would have, but I don't think there were many people who predicted them to win. I mean, it shows you maybe the effect of, there's a lost episode somewhere in our ether that we recorded, but I think it shows you that maybe Tony Pulis was the problem. You know, that they have got a good squad of players. You said that pre-season. In terms of a result for this, I don't know. Derby winning 4-0, was that because Birmingham, who are, as Craig will quote you later on, probably not one of the best teams in the league, is because they were just so bad or Derby was so good? So on that note, I genuinely don't know. This is the toughest one. I'm going to bottle it. I'm going to go for a high-scoring draw, 2-2. I can't see a winner.
Codes?
I'm really not sure, Craig, what to go for here, because I know what Charlie's saying about Sheffield Wednesday. They were 2 unbeaten before they sacked Tony Pulis, and some of the statements that have come out since are bizarre. My worry is, I don't know if Sheffield Wednesday are going to have a manager by tomorrow evening. I've got a sneaky suspicion someone's going to be in by then, and there's something just telling me it'll happen. They only had 5 shots to Middlesbrough's 21, so I just want to put that out there. It wasn't like it was a fluent, free-flowing display. Derby were brilliant, but as I've said before, Karanka is on... Unfortunately, he's lost the dressing room. He's on borrowed time at the minute. So I actually think Derby are going to nick this one. Away from home, they've been better throughout the season. They're actually mid-table on their away form. It's only because they're bottom at home. So I'm going to go for Derby to win. I'm fooled because they've scored 4, but they never really score. So, do you know what? 1-0. Boring game.
Ooh, yeah, I have to agree with you both. This is a really hard game to call because I don't know what Sheffield Wednesday turned up against Middlesbrough because, yeah, all right, they might have got 4 points before that game, but end of the day, they still won. Derby were fantastic in the first half. I think Birmingham handed it to them on a plate, but they were still fantastic. I'm going to go for a Derby win. I think they're going to win 2-0 instead of Cody's 1. Up next at St Andrews, it's Birmingham City versus Blackburn. God, this is not a hard game to predict, Cody.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Oh, okay. You can go right ahead.
Well, bar Derby, which we mentioned a minute ago, Birmingham have got the next worst home record in the league. They lost 4-0 in midweek to Derby. They lost 4-1 at home to Middlesbrough the game before, albeit 1-0 Watford before that. But I can't see a way out for Karanka here. I really don't see him lasting much longer now. Blackburn, we mentioned they're inconsistent. They've not been great in recent weeks, only 1 win in 6. But if there's ever a game to win, it's this one. So I'm going to go for Blackburn to win and to win heavily. I'm going to go for, do you know what? Blackburn score goals. Birmingham are going to concede them again. I'm going for 4-2 to Blackburn.
It's just a niggling suspicion. I know there was a way, but they beat Bristol City, they beat Reading, and they were poor in both of those games and still managed to get a result. So there's a little bit of me that thinks, could they do that again? Could they sneak another 1-0 win? And I'll be really annoyed if they do, because I'm going to go for the obvious one, go for a Blackburn win. Not as many as Dan, but not as many goals for Birmingham either. 3-0 Blackburn.
Yeah, this is Birmingham are absolutely shocking form, to be honest. And I'm going to keep saying it every week. They're probably the second worst side I've seen this season. Blackburn, which Blackburn turns out to be, they're not great away from home either. But I do think they're going to win this one. Bradley Dack started to come back from injury, which is a massive boost for Blackburn. But I think they'll win by the odd goal. Up next to the Brentford Community Stadium, it is Brentford versus Bristol City. Coach, we watched Bristol City on Tuesday. Wasn't particularly great, despite what the manager said.
No, there were some things that really puzzled me about Bristol City. There's clearly talent there. There's clearly quality there. He said about thinking they were the better side and winning the game when they had 1 shot on target, which was a little bit bizarre. But Bristol City, they looked a little bit toothless, to be honest. Bar Chris Martin's odd little flicks and tricks, there was no one running off him to support him. And Brentford at home, I know they've not been great across the season, but recently it's 3 in a row if you include the League Cup game. So for me, it's going to be a Brentford win. Bristol City don't lose heavily too often, so I'm going to go for 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go for a Brentford win, to be honest, as well, because I watched the game against Bournemouth. It was actually a really good game, Brentford-Bournemouth, and I did say that would probably be a very good game. It was a good even game. Brentford just about shaded it. Bristol City, yeah, I know they're missing players, but yeah, they didn't create too much. So I'm going to go for Brentford to win 2-0. Charlie?
I think we're all going to go for a Brentford win. Bristol City away from home, lost the last 3. Brentford have been unbeaten in the last 5. Brentford will get 3. Will Bristol City score? Yeah, Brentford don't often keep a clean sheet that often. 3-1 Brentford.
Up next at John Smith's, it's Huddersfield Town versus Reading. Huddersfield 5 wins in a row now at home. Reading obviously got a good point away from home at Swansea. Coach, do you think Huddersfield will continue their very good form at home?
I certainly don't think they'll lose, but as much as Huddersfield are one of the form teams, certainly at home in the league, Reading are in the top 6 on their away form this season, so it does make it a little bit difficult. The last time Huddersfield didn't win at home was against Luton, and Reading aren't a particularly similar sort of side to that. And having got a good point at Swansea in the week, I think they'll do so again. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1, the Championship's favourite scoreline, although it's not this week, and hopefully it will return.
Charlie?
I see where Dan's coming from. I think Huddersfield have beaten some big teams. They've beaten Watford. They've beaten Blackburn. I know Blackburn are out of form, but still a good side. They've beaten some big teams at home. Admittedly, there's other ones that they've got their last 5 wins against, but I think I have to back them here. Reading just have that ability. Just when you think they're going in the right direction, they're going to do well, pick up a good draw against Swansea, they tend to then blow it the following week. So there's no football or logical, tactical sort of announce on it whatsoever on this result. But I'm going to go for a Huddersfield win just because I bank on Reading have another implosion like they do. 3-2 Huddersfield.
I'm going to have to agree with Charlie, to be fair. I think Huddersfield, they've turned it on the style at home. They can't do it away at the moment, but they really are turning it on the style at home. They're making it a fortress at the John Smiths. Reading, on the other hand, they're still missing key players. Liam Moore's still out. Lucas Jow's still out. But they've got a good young centre-half in McIntyre. I know he scored against Luton last week, but he did have some really good chances yesterday for a centre-half. I just think they might just burn out in this one, to be fair. I think they worked hard against Luton. Worked hard to get a clean sheet against Swansea. I think I'm going to go for the same scoreline Huddersfield got from midweek. I'm going to go for 2-1. Up next at Kenilworth Road, it's Luton Town versus Queen's Park Rangers. Queen's Park Rangers picked up a valuable point away from home. Charlie?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a false reading of the game. I think if Norwich spurned some really, really good chances and probably would. 23 shots they had, 9 on target to QPR's 3. I'm amazed it stayed 1-1. I think everyone in the ground, Daniel Farker afterwards was quite vocal about the number of chances that Norwich missed. So part of me thinking a draw. They've drawn the last 3 away from home 1-1, but they're back Luton at home the last few weeks and they've come good for me. So I might have to do it again. But it will be goals. Luton's favourite score, 2-1 at the minute, 2-1.
Codes Luton good for their money, to be fair. Well, does have 3 points.
Yeah, it was a good result. And as we said this about a month ago, the form was going to flip. And my word, has it done just that. Can't buy a win on the road and at home can't lose a game. It's absolutely, it's bizarre to see the turnaround. Luton were very good in midweek. I do worry about a squad of our size and our stature playing 3 games a week, but I think the same might apply to QPR. The one thing I would say is these are the types of games at home that Luton struggled with last season, albeit largely under Graham Jones. But even if you look back to Reading at the end of last year when they were in poor form, when you've got 3 quick players playing high up on the counter-attack, we got absolutely roasted and battered 5-0, of course. So I really worry that this is going to be the surprise that we aren't expecting. And as a result, I'm going to hope I'm taking one for the team as well, like Craig did in midweek. And I'm going to go for 3-2 to QPR because I just see that being the sort of team we struggle with on the counter.
Yeah, QPR, obviously, aside, I know what you mean about the quick wingers. Sai Samuel is very quick player.
Good player.
I think he caused the equaliser last season. Other hand, Luton, excellent. Set pieces are doing a good job. Dewsbury Hall's finally scored. He's looking absolutely mustard right now. My worry is, I think if Luton get an early lead, I think they need to kill teams off. I don't think Luton do enough to kill teams off. Collins had a chance at 1-0. Doesn't take his chance. Keep makes a good save, and then Bristol got the other end of the score. That's my worry for Luton at the moment. They got to kill teams off, but I think they'll kill QPR off. I think I'm going to go for a clean sheet for Luton, 2-0. Up next at the New Den, it is Millwall versus Coventry. Millwall haven't played a game for 2 match days now. Coventry lost away. Sorry, they lost away to Preston Charlie, Millwall's home form is probably one of the worst in the league. Do you see that changing?
It's tough because Coventry's is nearly one of the worst away forms. So, I mean, there's two ways to look at the break. I'm not going to go on a big, long talk about it. There's two ways. Either they're refreshed when other teams, like you say, have been playing 3 games in, how many short space of time. But there is the thing of not playing for 2 weeks. It's almost like doing pre-season again in a weird way. So I don't know. If there's ever a game that Coventry would like to think they can get a point, I think, and steady the away form, is this one. So I don't think Millwall, I think will be a bit sluggish actually, having had 2 weeks off. I think it's like having 1 game off. That refreshes you and you've still got a bit of momentum from the previous head. Having 2 weeks off, 2 games off, I don't think it's going to do any favours. So I'm going to go for a plump 1-1 Champions favourite score on.
My worry, obviously, for Millwall is, do they have enough players ready for the game? Coventry, they could be tired. I think the form book will change in Coventry's favour. I'm going to go Coventry to win 2-1. Coach.
Yeah, you make a good point, actually, particularly with these isolation periods. You don't know how many players have been unwell, how unwell they've been, how many are going to be fit again. So it's always a bit of an uncertainty in an already unpredictable league. I really worried about the future of Millwall with Gary Rowett's statement the other day, talking about it's like being at Burton with no recruitment director, nobody sort of running that side and him doing everything himself. So it seems a bit unusual for a second-tier club, but I think they'll get a win in this game. So I'm going to go for the form book to go the other way. Millwall don't score many, so it's going to be a 1-0 home win for Millwall.
Up next is to the Championship's most informed teams. It is Norwich City versus Barnsley. Barnsley are absolutely flying at the moment, Coach.
They've been brilliant. I mean, we said about Valerian Ismail when he joined in that manager special that we thought he'd do a decent job and it wasn't a bad punt. I think it would be fair to say that neither you or I expected this to happen. We thought they'd stay up. We didn't think it would happen like this. I think they're going to give Norwich a game. I think Norwich will get a reaction because that's 2 poor performances now, or 2 poor results and not the best performances. At home, they're generally better. And Barnsley, I know they've been decent on the road recently, but it is generally where they're weaker of the 2. So I'm going to go for Norwich to nick a win. These 2 sides are always involved in 2-1s, so 2-1 to Norwich.
Charlie?
Yeah, with Norwich, I think it's a tough one because they haven't quite been as flowing in front of goal as what I think they'd like. They have created so many chances, but last few weeks, they're just missing that sort of cutting edge a little bit. And I think that's what happened with QPR. I don't think QPR were that great. I think Norwich just missed some sitters. But is this the week that it turns? I do think they still have too much for Barnsley. And Barnsley's away form has been okay. And I don't mean to use the teams but they've beaten Wycombe, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham. I'm not saying it's still cracking results, but it's not like they've been turning over teams around the top. So I don't quite think they've got enough to beat Norwich. Norwich can clean sheet, 2-0.
I'm going to go not in the same direction as you two. I think this could be a good game, to be fair. Barnsley could come out of the trap. I'm not going to go much further than two, because I think you two said it perfectly. I'm going to go for Desmond. Up next at Deepdale, it is Preston North End versus Nottingham Forest. Preston, as much as at home they've been bad at the start of the season, they've picked up 4 wins out of the last 6, Charlie.
It's just knowing which one turns up, because before that, obviously, they were literally unbeatable away from home. But I've got to go back to, I have to back Forest. It's turning, and I didn't last week, and it blew up in my face because they were playing Stoke, and I backed Michael O'Neill over Forest, and I want to publicly apologise for that. Chris Hughton, all joking aside, I think Chris Hughton is starting to do a bit of work there. Preston, I know what you're saying, they have been better at home, but there's still that little bit of nagging that, basically what Preston go back to the way they were at the beginning of the season. And there's a lot of games in a short space of time. A bit leggy for me. So I think I'm going to have to back Forest, as I said I would. 1-0 on Forest. Because I think Chris Hughton is finally getting something out of this front line of Nottingham Forest.
Preston getting a lot better at home. Forest haven't won away at all in the last 6. 2 draws and 4 defeats. I don't see anything else but a Preston win, to be honest. And I'm going to go for, because I haven't wrote this down yet, I'm going to go for 1-0 Preston. Cody?
I don't know. I mean, Forest are unbeaten in 4, albeit they're not playing beautiful football yet, and they're not scoring many goals. Preston have won 3 in a row, and you can insert what I said about Luton, actually. They've completely flipped the last month. They've been poor on the roads. The only win was away at Derby with just about sneaking past 10 men for a long time. They've been relentless at home. They've kept 3 clean sheets in a row. I think they'll keep a clean sheet again, but Forest don't concede many. So I'm going to go for a boring 0-0 draw, which will be out the window in 10 minutes, I'm sure.
Up next at the New York Stadium is Rotherham United versus Cardiff. It was a bad day at the office for Cardiff Codes.
3 bad days in a row, though. That's the problem. We thought they were turning a corner, and again, it's just gone completely. Rotherham, I mean, they bounced back. They weren't terrible against Barnsley, but, you know, you can never tell again with 2 weeks off. Rotherham have lost 5 in 6. Cardiff have lost 4 in 5 after a good run. I don't know what to go for. I genuinely have no idea what to go for in this game. Because Rotherham are at home and they play better there, and I don't know, 2-1 Rotherham. They're going to win at home eventually.
Charlie?
It's tough. I agree with Cody, but Cardiff are so Jekyll and Hyde because, like you say, they lost to Wycombe, but then they beat Watford away from home. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. Oh, I don't know. I think that will hurt them against Wycombe. So I'm going to I think they're going to bounce back. I've gone for so many 2-1s. No, I'm going to go bolder. 3-1 Cardiff City.
Oh, God.
It's the worst one, isn't it?
Oh, which two teams turn up? That's which Rotherham turn up, which Cardiff turn up. Cardiff will be really pissed off that they lost to Wycombe. And Neil Harris got sent off, so he won't be in the dugout.
Yeah, good point.
Just want a quick look at Rotherham's home form. Obviously, it's not great. It's 19th place in the last 6 games. So I'm going to go for them to win. Screw it. I'm going to go 2-1 as well. Up next at the Liberty Stadium is Swansea City versus Watford. Swansea don't concede many goals at home, Charlie.
No, their home form is win, draw in the last 5. Win, draw, win, draw. Were not great away from home. However, the new manager's come in. I don't know if it's making a difference or not. I mean, you listen to a few of the people talk, you know, Troy Deeney and Ben Foster, etc., and they're saying let's play with a bit more freedom. So that would suggest that maybe under Ivic, they were a bit more, shackled down. But I don't know, Swansea are good at home. This is tough. My head's screaming a draw, and I've got no logical reason to go for it, because Swansea probably should win and probably will win. Not a lot of goals. Championship favourite scoreline 1-1.
Coach?
Don't know. Really don't
okay.
know.
Do you want me to go first and then you go?
Look, Swansea have kept 6 clean sheets in 7. Watford have been involved in many a 1-0 or 2-0 in the last few weeks. Second 0-0 today. Why not? Because it just makes it more frustrating, doesn't it?
Well, I'm not going to go for 0-0. I'm not going to go for 1-1. I haven't gone for 1-1 at all yet. But Swansea are very good at home. They're strong. They don't concede many goals. Watford, on the other hand, obviously didn't get to play on Tuesday, so they've had a bit of a longer break match-wise. But the new manager he's obviously got into the training ground and worked on things that he wants to do. So that could be a positive for Watford. But this is Watford, so anything can go up in smoke. So I'm going to go for Swansea to win 2-0. Up next, it's Wycombe Wanderers versus Middlesbrough at Adams Park. Wycombe picked up a priceless win against Cardiff. Middlesbrough lost to Sheffield Wednesday, managerless. Charlie, why are we still backing Neil Warnock away?
Well, Neil Warnock away from home is really it's a big concern, genuinely. Now, I know we joke about Neil Warnock, but the away form the last 6 games has been awful. I genuinely don't know. Wycombe picked up a good win against Cardiff at home as well, and we did say that they're going to have to start coming out a little bit more, and they did. Oh, I don't know. I think I have to go with Borough being so bad away from home, and that's going to continue. And I know Neil Warnock is a genius, and we do like him, but I don't know if he hasn't sorted in the last 6. I don't see what difference this one's going to make. So I'm going to go for a repeat of the other day. No, actually, I don't fancy Middlesbrough to score. 1-0 Wycombe.
Kate?
Well, bar January the 1st signing from Neil Warnock, I am inclined to agree with Charlie, to be honest. Middlesbrough are picking up less than a point a game this season on the road. They're 17th in the away form table. Mm-hmm. Wycombe, that win's important. The point at QPR was great. I mean, the only big Middlesbrough away win recently was Birmingham, and they're in disarray. So I think Wycombe are going to win as well. I don't think it's going to be 1-0 because I can't see Wycombe keeping a clean sheet. But I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Wycombe.
Wycombe, yeah, great win for Wycombe. Great win. We didn't see it coming. Similar, probably could be similar sort of game to what they had against Cardiff, so that might go in their favour. I'm going to go for the Championship favourite scoreline. I'm going to go for 1-1. And the final game, it's at the Bet365 Britannia Stadium. It is Stoke City versus Bournemouth. Charlie, Bournemouth lost to Brentford. Yeah, they'll be disappointed they lost, but they actually played quite well.
Yeah, you say that. I agree. They've only won 1 in the last 5. Admittedly, they've drawn 3. I don't think they're as expansive away from home. And I think that maybe showed against Brentford, really, and probably gave them a bit too much time to sort of play. So maybe they got it slightly wrong. But they still played well. Brentford are great going forward, so we're not going to take it away from them. In terms of this, though, I'm going to move off of that because I think all of this goes out the window, and I'm going to go back to an old favourite of mine. This is Michael O'Neill's game down to a T. This is it. This has to happen. Bournemouth will come out, suck up the pressure, 1-0 counter-attack, Stoke City, Michael O'Neill special. There you go, heard it here.
Codes.
I did have the same, to be honest.
Go for it!
I'm going to go for something completely different now. Bournemouth, as Charlie mentions, actually, on the road, they have not been brilliant. The more I look at it, the more I think it's going to be a draw. And basically, I'm going to say 1-1 now, but if Craig goes the same, I'm going to change it to 0-0. So whichever one of 1-1 and 0-0 Craig doesn't go for, I'll go for, but 1-1 initially.
So you're going for 0-0 then?
So you've gone for 1-1?
Yeah.
Right, 0-0.
Just look at Stoke's home form. Currently 13th in the home format.
I was going to say, it's only mid-table, isn't it?
Yeah.
For all our stuff.
Yeah, but like Charlie raves about Stoke being good at home, but in the last 6 games, won 3, drawn 1, and lost 2. But Bournemouth away from home, 1-2, drawn 3, and lost 1. So it makes sense to go for the Championship Pro scoreline of 1-1. I will go for 1-1, but I've got a really funny feeling Stoke will nick this one 1-0. So I've just got a funny feeling it's going to end 1-0 to Stoke, but I'm going to go for 1-1. And let's have a quick recap of our scores for this New Year's edition of Championship Predictions. A lot of 2-1s, a lot of 3-0, a 4-2 there, and I've copy-coded once.
I've gone for 3-0 as well, which is going to
3
really annoy
0-0s,
me after 20 minutes.
Because the 0-0s that we said in midweek didn't really work.
No.
And those are our predictions for this championship weekend. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know in the comment section down there. And while you're down there, give this video a like, subscribe to the Honest Football Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. We'll see you next time.